两位爷爷，大事不好！
皇帝死了，换一人便是。
尸体！
道主和如来一起出手，肯定是死的。
下一招，便可结束他的性命。
如来大成经20诸天，加上刀剑14篇的剑招，你们当真是要绝了朕的生路
Rumble, crack, bolts of lightning poured down from the clouds. The roaring flashes enveloped Emperor Yan Feng, brilliant light flickering as 9 true dragons coiled through the sky. Roaring in unison, they brandished their claws and charged toward the Dao sect master and Rulai. Rulai laughed heartily and flipped over his golden alms bowl, its mouth facing the heavens. At once, dazzling golden radiance descended from the heavenly layers. Buddhas and divine beings filled the sky, standing against the 9 true dragons. Old Taoist, I'll leave the task of killing the emperor to you, Rulai said with a grin. The Dao sect master gripped his sword. Swordlight blazed brilliantly, moving in accordance with the profound laws of heaven and earth. Softly he chanted, "The Tao nurtures the heavens and the earth, giving birth to all dharmas. All under heaven return to the One. Your Majesty, this half move." Before he could finish, 2 streaks of light flashed across the sky before abruptly coming to a halt. The old Taoist immediately withdrew his sword and looked up. An old man dressed in azure robes and a blind elder leaning on a bamboo staff stood suspended in mid-air. "Rulai having a fight?" crippled Grandpa asked with a cheerful smile. Rulai also withdrew the golden radiance into his bowl and smiled. "Marshal Kagan, blind Taoist, what brings the 2 of you here?" Elder Ma replied coldly, "We're looking for someone." The blind elder tapped his bamboo staff against empty space, causing the very air to tremble. The experts who had been fighting were startled and hastily ceased their battle. The blind elder smiled. "The wind scatters the clouds. You've all been fighting quite fiercely. Sorry to interrupt, but have any of you seen a young woman?" Quan Dingwu, bruised and battered from the fighting, seized the opportunity to catch his breath and shouted, "Blind old man, who are you looking for?" "A young woman so beautiful that one glance would haunt you for the rest of your life. Day and night you'd pine for her." The blind elder sighed dreamily. "She's incredibly formidable. Inside her heart resides an old devil who's committed countless atrocities. He's infatuated with her beauty and intends to seize her body to turn himself into a woman. Such an unparalleled beauty, we plan to bring her to the great Thunderclap Temple and ask old Rulay here to subdue that old devil." He rambled on endlessly, but no one understood what he was talking about. Elder Ma frowned. "Blind man, get to the point." The blind elder scratched his head. "That young woman is the wife of the former sect master of the Heavenly Devil sect, and also the former saintess. Rulai wanted to kill the emperor, so she escaped." Rulai smiled. "This old monk doesn't possess the ability to split himself in 2. I couldn't help." The blind elder flew into a rage. "Then you should have said so from the beginning. Now we've lost her entirely." Turning to the crowd, he asked, "Has anyone seen the wife of the former Heavenly Devil sect master? She's extraordinarily beautiful, with a voice capable of stealing souls." Everyone shook their heads. Suddenly, Xue Bie found a glimmer of hope and shouted, "We're from the Heavenly Saint sect. Seniors, please lend us your aid." Rulai was slightly taken aback. The Dao sect master asked, "What's your connection to them?" "They're the eldest disciples of myself and Shang Shen," Rulai replied. The old Taoist looked astonished. "So you're the 3-eyed Marshal Kagan and the divine eye of old. The 2 of you have grown this old." Elder Ma shook his head. "Your affairs aren't as urgent as finding the person I'm looking for." The blind elder sighed as well. "Whether you kill or protect the emperor isn't nearly as important as finding her. If the emperor dies, another can always take his place. But if that monster escapes, calamity will befall the entire world." He turned toward Emperor Yan Feng. "Your Majesty, have you seen the wife of that sect master?" The emperor slowly shook his head. "I have not. I wish to ask the 2 seniors to lend me a hand." The blind elder shook his head. "Not interested. If you haven't seen her, that's for the best. But if you did and still let her escape, then prepare yourselves for a catastrophe that destroys both nation and people." Turning to Elder Ma, he said, "Old Ma, let's go. She can't have gotten very far." Elder Ma nodded. The 2 transformed into streaks of light and vanished in the blink of an eye. Everyone stared in amazement. What eccentric seniors! The sounds of slaughter soon erupted once more. Rulai activated his golden bowl, sending forth rays of golden light. 20 heavenly layers appeared above. The Tao sect master swung his sword, unleashing the 14th half move of the Tao sword. Sword light evolved into the great Tao of heaven and earth. The sword became heaven. The sword became earth. The sword transformed into all things, then into the stars themselves. That single strike embodied the grand unification of all under heaven. Emperor Yan Feng circulated the 9 dragons' emperor art. 9 true dragons guarded his body, while divine radiance spread beneath his feet. Every move carried the might to move mountains, fill seas, and overturn heaven and earth. Rulai seized the opportunity and swung his golden bowl. The 20 heavenly layers descended simultaneously. The pressure of 20 worlds crashed down upon Emperor Yan Feng one after another. He roared as he struggled against the overwhelming weight. His movements slowed considerably, yet his Tao arts and divine arts only grew more powerful as they clashed against the Tao sword. The Tao sect master's half move underwent endless transformations. Without revealing the slightest trace, it carried numerological calculations to their absolute limit, perfectly expressing the profound truth: the Tao gives birth to 1, 1 gives birth to 2, 2 gives birth to 3, 3 gives birth to all things. Unfortunately, old age had dulled the Tao sect master's mind, preventing him from perfecting this sword technique. Thus he had mastered only half of it. Yet that single half move alone was enough to unravel every Tao art and divine ability. As Rulai rotated the golden bowl, he chanted a Buddhist invocation. The national preceptor of the Dian Kang nation has yet to appear. If anything unexpected happens, we must finish this quickly. As soon as he finished speaking, he lightly thrust out a palm. His 5 fingers trembled. 5 towering mountains descended from the heavens. Meanwhile, Dragon Killin panted as he ran. "Sect Master, I've already given it everything I've got." Chinmu gritted his teeth. "You're nowhere near as fast as the Azure Ox. It runs twice as fast as you and can cover 10,000 miles in a single breath. Fatty Dragon, if you truly give it your all, I'll take you to challenge the Azure Ox. But if you stay this slow, I'll bring the Azure Ox here to beat you instead." Dragon Killin clenched his teeth and immediately unleashed every ounce of strength. The fire clouds beneath his feet erupted violently, his speed soaring so suddenly that Chin Mu nearly got thrown from his back. After racing dozens more miles, however, his speed dropped once again. Foam frothed from his mouth as he gasped, "Sect Master, I really can't keep going." There was nothing Chin Mu could do but shout, "And whose fault is it for stuffing yourself all day? Next year I'll have you served at the banquet." Just then, 2 streaks of light, 1 azure and 1 grey, shot toward them from afar. Chinmu was startled. The 2 streaks suddenly stopped, then immediately turned back. "Mua, why are you here?" Elder Ma and the blind elder appeared before him. The blind elder laughed. "If my eyesight weren't this good, we'd have missed you. When did you leave the great Thunderclap Temple? Did those monks give you any trouble?" Chinmu hurriedly replied, "I left when everyone else did." "Blind Grandpa Ma, something terrible has happened. Rulai and the Tao sect master have gone to kill the emperor." Elder Ma answered calmly, "We saw. It's nothing serious. It wouldn't be the first time an emperor has been replaced." The blind elder sighed. "Mua, you need to learn to distinguish what matters most. Lai Tianxing is the true disaster. If he succeeds in taking Granny C's body, that'll be a genuine catastrophe. Who could stop him then?" Chinmu blinked. "I've already found Granny Sai. The 2 of you don't need to worry anymore. She simply doesn't want to return to the great ruins because she's afraid of dragging everyone else into danger." After a brief pause, he asked, "Can the 2 of you save the emperor?" Elder Ma glanced at the blind elder. The blind elder shook his head. "It'll be difficult. By now the emperor is probably already dead. With Rulai and the Tao sect master joining forces, even if the national preceptor of the Dian Kang nation returned, he might not be able to save him." He suddenly remembered something. "Oh right, your people from the Heavenly Devil sect are there too. They're probably dead by now." Chinma gritted his teeth. "The emperor cannot die. As for the experts of the sect, there's no need to worry, they can teleport away at any time. The national preceptor of the Dian Kang nation isn't there. We didn't see him." Elder Ma replied, "Rulai and the Tao sect master are both old. They can't prolong the battle for too long, or the little lifespan they have left will be completely exhausted." The blind elder smiled broadly. "But we're younger than they are." Elder Ma nodded. The blind elder chuckled. "Then let's go snatch the emperor back. Mu'er, stay here and wait. We'll go retrieve the Emperor's corpse for you. Qinma froze. The Emperor's corpse. The two of them transformed into streaks of light and sped away. Elder Ma's voice could still be heard from afar. With the Dao sect master and Rulai attacking together, he's definitely dead. On the battlefield, Rulai and the Dao sect master joined forces determined to end the battle as quickly as possible. Emperor Yanfeng fought the two supreme experts alone and suffered grievous injuries one after another. His vital blood still surged like a vast sea. In contrast, the vital blood of Rulai and the Dao sect master had already begun to fluctuate. However, their cultivation was simply too powerful. Whether in cultivation or combat strength, both of them far surpassed Emperor Yanfeng. What was more, they were now fighting together. Although Emperor Yanfeng's vital blood remained abundant, it was merely the final flare of a lamp before its flame went out. Rulai and the Dao sect master understood this perfectly. One more move would be enough to take his life. Just then, a bamboo staff suddenly appeared. The old Dao sect master immediately swung his sword to block it. Rulai also sensed killing intent approaching from behind and quickly turned his golden bowl to defend himself. Clang! Clang! The bamboo staff struck the sword. The tip of the sword then stabbed into the golden bowl. Blind Grandpa staggered several steps backward and laughed. Not bad. Your cultivation really is higher than mine. Rulai and the Dao sect master immediately turned around. Emperor Yanfeng had vanished without a trace. Rulai sighed softly. There's no need to pursue them. Emperor Yanfeng's vital blood has been exhausted, and his divine treasures have been shattered. Amitabha. Even if they save him, he'll only be a cripple. Far away, Qin Mu was still waiting anxiously. Suddenly a figure fell from the sky and crashed heavily onto Dragon Killin's back. Blind Grandpa's voice echoed from the distance. Mu'er, here's the corpse you asked for. Qin Mu looked down at Emperor Yanfeng. The emperor now resembled a torn sack stuffed full of grain. The only difference was that no grain spilled from this sack. Instead, blood continuously poured from every part of his body. His condition was extremely critical. His vital blood was rapidly drying up. At the same time, violent rumbling sounds repeatedly came from within his body, like heaven and earth collapsing. As his vital blood weakened, his divine treasures also began to shatter one after another. Without immediate treatment, the emperor probably wouldn't survive for more than 2 hours. So it's Zhongzhan Grand Master. Emperor Yanfeng struggled to open his eyes and asked weakly, "Can I still be saved?" Qin Mu quickly examined his injuries. His 10 fingers moved rapidly as he executed the Heavenly Devil creation technique. First, he sealed Emperor Yanfeng's divine soul, preventing his souls and spirits from leaving his body. Emperor Yanfeng immediately became unable to speak or even move his eyes. Qinme took out some dragon saliva and applied it to the wounds. Looking up, he saw that Blind Grandpa and Elder Ma had not stopped. They continued speeding forward. Are they going to draw away the pursuers? Qin Mu didn't think too deeply about it and immediately called out, "Fatty Dragon, turn around. We're going back to Granny's house." Dragon Killin immediately changed direction. Along the way, Qin Mu fed Emperor Yanfeng some dragon saliva, then used massage techniques to force the stagnant blood out of his body. As he treated him, Qin Mu calculated how best to save his life. A moment later, he took out several spirit pills. Previously, when he comprehended the Great Unification technique, his body had suffered severe depletion of vital blood and exhaustion of his spirit. At the time, he had refined 2 kinds of life-saving spirit pills. One was the Spirit Buddha pill, which nourished the spirit. The other was the Blood Flourishing pill, which replenished vital blood. In the end, he had also needed to take a Great Nourishing Spirit pill and eat a Scarlet Dragon Carp King before making a complete recovery. The pill in his hand now was a Blood Flourishing pill. Qinme hesitated. Emperor Yanfeng's vital blood was almost completely exhausted, but he could still be saved. If he took the Blood Flourishing pill, his vital blood would suddenly surge. However, his divine treasures were already on the verge of collapse. They would be unable to withstand such an enormous influx of energy and would immediately shatter. Emperor Yanfeng's cultivation was too powerful. Once the energy inside his divine treasures went out of control with nowhere to escape, his entire body would explode. At that point, not only would Emperor Yanfeng die, but Qin Mu and Dragon Qilin would also be blown to pieces. But without replenishing his vital blood, Emperor Yanfeng wouldn't survive either. I need to draw the energy inside his divine treasures out first, then replenish his vital blood. Qinmu fell into deep thought. The best method would be to use silver needles to guide the violent energy out of his body. However, given Emperor Yan Feng's cultivation, the silver needles would probably melt the instant they entered his divine treasures. They wouldn't be able to conduct the energy outward. The second method was to seal that energy. Unfortunately, Qinmu's magic power wasn't sufficient to seal Emperor Yan Feng's cultivation. There was one more method. He could use a cultivation-dissolving spirit pill to forcibly disperse all of the Emperor's cultivation. However, such spirit pills were all refined from deadly poisons. The slightest mistake would dissolve not only Emperor Yan Feng's cultivation, but also his physical body. In the end, Qinmu decided to choose the second option. He wasn't strong enough to perform the seal. But Granny C could. Even if I save him, I'm afraid he'll still become a cripple. Qinmu sighed inwardly. Emperor Yan Feng was still in the prime of his life. Had he not suffered this calamity, he could have lived for another 200 or 300 years. But after today's battle, even if his life was preserved, he would only have the lifespan of an ordinary person. A mighty ruler of all under heaven had become a mortal in the blink of an eye. There was no telling how desperate he would feel when he woke up. Perhaps sealing his divine treasures is the best choice. Qinmu shook his head softly. Maybe there will still be a chance to restore them in the future. Yet even he understood that the hope was exceedingly slim. Yeah. Dragon Killin quickly carried him back to Granny C's wooden house in the forest. Qinmu used his vital qi to support Emperor Yan Feng, keeping his body from being jolted along the way. Hearing the commotion, Granny Sai walked outside. The moment she saw Emperor Yan Feng, her eyes widened. What trouble have you caused this time? When she recognized the person lying on Dragon Killin's back, she became even more astonished. The Emperor. Then she smiled as brightly as a flower. Brat, are you planning to skin the Emperor and take the throne for yourself? Not bad. You're becoming more promising by the day. Immediately afterward, her expression turned serious. However, the 3,000 beauties in the Imperial Harem are all little vixens. Be careful, or they'll charm you until you lose your senses. Qinmu didn't know whether to laugh or cry. I'm not planning to skin him. Granny, help me seal the energy inside the Emperor's divine treasures first. Don't let him explode. I'm going to buy some medicinal ingredients. Remember not to refine the Emperor while I'm gone. Granny C nodded but didn't forget to warn him. Come back before nightfall. Otherwise that little hussy Li Tianxing will definitely be delighted to skin him and disguise himself as the Emperor. At that moment, Emperor Yan Feng had just regained consciousness. After hearing their entire conversation, he couldn't help shuddering. Zhongzhan Grand Master's granny. Just what kind of person is she? Why is she so vicious? Wait, wasn't Li Tianxing already dead? Why is he here? The thought had only just flashed through his mind when his injuries became too severe for him to endure. His vision went dark. Emperor Yan Feng fell unconscious once more.